Yo.
Hey, what's good, everybody?
Finally live. Finally back again. Finally, coof free. That's what took us out for a very long time.
Oh man,
Having that nonsense is not fun. I mean, obviously, I don't think it's nearly as bad as our media makes it out to be.
Yeah,
Pretty much just a bad flu, bad cold, but nothing that I haven't been. I've been through worse. Pneumonia was worse. Trust me. that is no joke.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're finally back with a quick episode tonight. I don't know how long we're gonna go. It's already 10:40.
Yeah, it's already late.
Yeah,
we're
exactly.
old men
We're
now.
Old men now. We both have to work in the morning, so
tittle off and do this all day.
Exactly. Not gonna be in front of y'all for too long, but we have a little bit of news today. A pretty important character finally dropped.
Oh yes.
In
Daddy
Smash
likes.
Bros. The final character, the 82nd character of the Smash Bros. Ultimate lineup was finally joined it. Sora from Kingdom Hearts is in the game now, finally. After many years, Nintendo revealed that he was the most requested character pretty much of all time, dating all the way back to like 6 years ago. They said the reason why they didn't put out the poll results because they didn't want us, the fans, hounding people like Square Enix, when all of them going after them, telling them, them to go on and put him in the game. So Sora is that final Smash Bros. Character. He is the one.
He's that player.
He's that player. Finally, after years and years of waiting, he's in the game. He has all of his forms. He has his Kingdom Hearts first appearance. He has Kingdom Hearts 2 and all his different forms that he would get whenever he would merge. His blades, he get his wisdom form, his deeper red and black form. I forget what all the forms are called. I haven't played Kingdom Hearts 2 in so many years.
Oh man.
But yeah, they even have his Dream Drop Distance, his costume from that game. They have his costume from Kingdom Hearts 3 as well. So
Square Enix with those titles, by the way.
Yeah, Dream Drop Distance, 358 over 2 days. It's like there's a lot of
man.
I can't imagine the legal nightmare it was to get him into the game.
Oh yeah,
because people think they only have to talk to Square Enix.
No,
you have to realize Kingdom Hearts is literally this is verbatim from Tetsuya Nomura. Technically, even though Square Enix develops the game, the actual owner of that franchise is Disney.
Yes.
Disney owns the characters for Kingdom Hearts. So Nintendo had to do some serious string pulling, backflips,
back rubs.
Because people, the reason how people found out Sora was the actual, because it leaked last week, but people found out he was because Nintendo filed a patent, or they filed, not a patent, but a, what's that called? When you get permission to use.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they filed one of those, and it went public. Accidentally, they
no, it didn't. There was some nerd inside the court who was like, Nintendo,
exactly,
Disney,
exactly. Yeah, so they filed, to actually have the Kingdom Hearts music.
Oh yeah,
in the game.
Oh yeah,
and that's how people found out. Yeah. So it's going to be Sora. Who's it going to be? Because a lot of people thought in today's trailer, a lot of folks thought that it was actually going to be the main character from like the Dark Souls game, because when the Smash Bros. Emblem, it faded out into one ember that fell on the ground, and so people were like, oh, because that's how you save in Dark Souls is the kindling, and so when Mario goes over and grabs the flame and he pulls it out and it looks like a sword for like a split second, but then he throws it. And I was watching it. I was like, okay, who's it going to be? But then before it even showed Mickey's emblem, I was like, oh, Sora. Because I saw the keyblade in the flame as it was turning. So I was like, oh, he's finally here.
Yeah.
So it was a dope reveal. It was cool seeing them, seeing Sakurai talk about it. I mean, obviously he made emphasis to how hard it was actually getting him into the game. Because again, it's a legal nightmare, all the loops and hoops.
I love the fact that he was like, we would have had a stage to do the whole presentation, but this ate up our budget.
Exactly.
So we're here.
Exactly. He's over here talking about how the presentation ate up the budget. Obviously, to even get him in the game, the Nintendo probably paid a pretty big penny, but more than likely the game is paid for itself. I believe Smash Bros. Ultimate has sold somewhere over 30 million copies. On the Switch, so they're not hurting for money.
No, plus, not at all.
Plus, each DLC pack is like $30. So this is the third one. So
they've collected my money.
Exactly. So it's $90 total for all 3. DLC packs.
Probably one of the most expensive games developed, honestly.
It probably is because of the licenses. That's why most Japanese games when they come over, especially nowadays, the whole jump storm games and games of that nature. The reason why you don't get a English option for those games because it's a legal nightmare. If they do the English and they have to do it because anime is aired everywhere, so if they do it in English, then you also have to go do it in Korean, Chinese.
Yes.
Vietnamese.
And they've treated each one of those countries as if their studios are like vendors, right? Mm-hmm. So you have back in the day it was ADV, right? Today it's Funimation. You have Viz. You have all these different companies, and everybody owns legal rights to Japanese properties, except they become converted to American properties, and it becomes a whole other type of cluster, if you will. Mm-hmm. So then it's like, not only are you paying for the Japanese rights to bring those characters over, then you're paying for the American rights for people who have pre-existing deals. And these companies, they're really, I'm not trying to be funny. Funimation uses exactly maybe 5 or 6 different voice actors at this point.
They don't use many different ones.
No,
it's like you hear the same ones on pretty much every show. And it's not a slight against anyone, but it would be cool to actually hear some different talent. Besides a Stephen J. Blum, a Crispin Freeman.
Chris Sabat, who does every now.
You would just like to hear, someone else, some more younger talent,
new people,
go on and come on, the scene.
Yeah,
and that's probably why they only brought Sora over, because think about having to implement Donald and Goofy.
Oh man, or Mickey,
Kyrie. His best friend
Riku.
If you have
Tigger,
Jack Sparrow, Ansem, and all of them. That's just too much money.
Yeah.
So that's why maybe if there's another Smash Bros. Game, maybe another 4 or 5 years, maybe then they'll go on and bring over all of those guys, into the game. But it's just a lot, going on there with that. So I'm grateful that we even got who and what we got so far in the game.
Well, I'm definitely hoping. One thing I am hoping is that Nintendo takes this goodwill that they have with Square Enix right now, because we're finally at a point where now we're getting consistent Square Enix games on the Nintendo Switch. And initially they were thought to be just, the retreads and whatnot, but now we're beginning to see high quality stuff. So we've seen the Trials of Mana, we've seen the remake of ActRaiser, we're seeing them partner up with the Final Fantasy series that's coming over. We're beginning to see other brand new franchises that are in fact coming over from Square Enix. We've seen the Dragon Warrior franchise that's coming over as well. We're beginning to see level 5 games that are actually subsidiaries, I believe, of Square Enix as well too. So we're beginning to see a lot of these developers who at one point in time felt alienated between Nintendo, because they went with it's a crazy convoluted history, but Nintendo was supposed to go with a disc-based format. They were supposed to partner up with Sony. I told people when I was a kid that Nintendo was supposed to have a CD system. I want to let you all know, I remember when I got laughed to scorn. And when I see that they were supposed to have it, it was supposed to be the PlayStation 1. And Nintendo backed out the deal like a dude who's about to get robbed, because they were about to get robbed. Sony was trying to, basically do a hostile takeover of Nintendo. And that was what was going to take place. That's when Nintendo jumped out of there and partnered up with Philips Magnavox. And again, it's a convoluted story that spurring created a rivalry between Nintendo and Sony, which was never supposed to be there because Sony had been a developer, I think, of their sound chip or the Super Nintendo and they were boys at one point. It was kind of like the Jay-Z and Dame Dash thing, if you can imagine that. And then it just created this bitter rivalry where everybody kind of took sides, and Square Enix tight with Nintendo at one point in time. Go look at the catalog; it was all there. They ended up jumping on board with Sony, and for years they did nothing but bring the Sony basically the lion's share, the top cut of meat of their production teams. And so now it's kind of cool. What I'm hoping for, honestly, what I would love to see Nintendo do, take this opportunity to flip this goodwill and let's get a Super Mario RPG Part 2. Like, I want like a true sequel to the SNES game. Man, that would be so dope, especially with today's like presentation, gameplay options and everything like that. Could you imagine the mechanics for the battle system and everything like that? Like, bro, it would be crazy. And then having all these little references, it's like, I don't know about y'all, but one of my favorite movies a couple years ago was what was that game that Disney had where they made reference to all the video game characters? I think it was Wreck-It Ralph.
Wreck-It Ralph, yeah.
The first one is amazing. The second one is the first one was amazing because they had a lot of references to video games we all know: Sonic, Street Fighter, Ghouls and Goblins, Mario, like all those different things. The second one tried to be like, well, we can create franchises, and it was like, no, you were great because of the nostalgia that you brought.
The nostalgia factor that they brought to the film. I mean, even the beginning of the movie is pretty much the funniest part. You have, all the guys from like Capcom, Marvel, Capcom, Bowser is there. You're a bad guy, but you're not a bad guy.
Going through a therapy
session. Therapy session. It was a great start to the movie. But yeah, I mean, even there, I'm pretty sure that was a license nightmare because to get Mario in the game.
Oh yeah,
Donkey Kong, Bowser. Obviously they more than likely got paid, but that right there was probably the bridge that actually they built into bringing Sora over to Smash Bros. Because they did allow Disney to go ahead and use the likenesses of those characters, and put them in those games. So it is a great move, to finally get Sora in the game. He comes out so you can actually play as him October 18th.
13 days to our birthday. Exactly. Thank you, Nintendo. I'll take that birthday.
Yeah. So you actually get to play as Sora on the 18th of this coming month. So that right there will probably do it for our coverage of Sora and Smash Bros. Unless something else.
Man, like I said, I just hope Nintendo takes advantage of this goodwill. Like, man, let's make something pop if they're not already doing it, because I would just love to see like Nintendo go into where they make a game that pays tribute to the whole industry. Like, I would love to see them have like a game where if Mario is Sonic, but it ain't just Mario Sonic, it's Mario, Sonic, Snake, Mega Man, Ryu, Kid, like all of these characters. Yes, I want the lion's share to be your characters, so you can definitely promote your franchises and whatnot. But one thing I always loved about the Kingdom Hearts franchise was that it was really nothing more than a vehicle to make you go back and appreciate Disney products. Yeah. And that's ultimately what it was, right? So I would love Nintendo to essentially do the exact same thing. Go and just show the gamers all the love that they can handle. Because, man, right now this world needs love, does it not?
Before we get on to our next story, some of the games that are coming out this week, WarioWare Get It Together 7.75 from Game Informer. Metroid Dread comes out this Friday. I believe Far Cry 6 also comes out this Friday.
Yeah, that's a big one too.
Yeah, that's going to be a big game. We'll see what they can do with it. Back 4 Blood, NHL 2022. Alan Wake Remaster is already out. They got a 8 from Game Informer. Life is Strange True Colors got an 8.5 as a score. So Just want to get out those news notes here. And as I said, our next story is going to be. This is really something too I can like actually. Don't want to get to because I don't follow Marvel. This is one of the reasons why I don't follow Marvel. This is why he's about to go over.
Oh God. So Marvel, I know some of you guys have watched this in the past. You've heard me rant and rave about how great Jonathan Hickman's X-Men was, and it truly was amazing. It was an amazing run. And the reason why I'm saying it was an amazing run is because Jonathan Hickman has decided to leave Marvel essentially, but he's left with a lot of issues basically. His X-Men franchise basically rebooted it so that way Marvel would have like a type of backbone as to how they would introduce the X-Men into the MCU. Well, the thing that was so frustrating is that it went in a brand new direction and it was so amazing, but it made a lot of people, I don't know, feel like maybe the X-Men weren't really the good guys or whatever. And I've always said with the X-Men, philosophically within the Marvel Universe, there's a problem with the X-Men that very few people actually recognize. And it's not that I put myself so high up and everybody so far down. It's just that if you pay attention, the X-Men always go through where they're fighting for being extinct, essentially. Like they're fighting from on the verge of extinction. They're never on the come up. They're always backing down, and in the process, they're always on the verge of being killed by either a genocidal mutant who essentially decides to pit, all of humanity against itself in a Darwinian type rage with the, the basically the survival of the fittest, right? That's exactly who Apocalypse is. It's the fittest that must survive. Their genetics must go through this part of the human evolution. And he's great for it. But within his last run of the X-Men, what was so brilliant about it is that Magneto and Professor Xavier set aside their differences to work together directly for the progress of mutant kind. It was an incredible storyline. And as they are developing their own little island, their own little paradise for all of mutant kind, there comes all of the rivals they've ever fought, from Apocalypse to Omega Red. All the mutants are welcome. And you could argue they all have their own agendas, but guess what? That's what made a great, compelling storyline, right? When you couldn't tell who was really there for the benefit of their own community versus who wasn't. It created, almost, in my opinion, a Game of Thrones-like type of storyline where everybody had their own internal bickering, right? And they had their own internal motivations. Professor Xavier had a motivation, but he wasn't a perfect man. Magneto wasn't a perfect man either. He had his own version of what would make mutants great, right? And it was incredible. Then you had Apocalypse, who was part of the council, and again, it was great. They went through all these different adventures and whatnot. Can't let a good thing just flourish. Jonathan Hickman is leaving Marvel, and he's decided he's going to finish up his third part in a one-book series. And what I mean by that, it's one book that's going to run the whole series. And it's really, really, like, a lot of us really wanted to buy American comic books, right? Because when you're a fan of comics, and guys, I'm nearly 40 years old, right? When I go to the comic book store, I don't see these other groups of people they claim are going to be there to buy comics. I see guys around my age, nerds of all variety. We always joke and say, look, the nerds have inherited the earth. We always joke, telling the kids there, hey, we bled so you could walk. We crawled so you could walk on our shoulders. Recognize we built this world that's obsessed with geek culture, right? It's cool now to play video games. It's cool to love comic books. It's cool to love the X-Men. It's cool to love the Avengers. we always make those jokes, but in actuality, that's exactly what it was. I'm telling you. Even anime. Anime used to be by the adult film section in Best Buy. As anybody old enough to remember, I'm not the only one who can recount this story, right? Even over a Blockbuster when it was around. I'm not kidding you, right? But they can't let a good thing just thrive. Now we fast forward and we're seeing the rise of manga, right? The rise of Japanese animation is through the roof, right? I believe it was Kimetsu no Yaiba, Demon Slayer. The rated R animation broke all kinds of box office records over in Japan and made a lot of waves around the world. But the problem with the Japanese animation, manga, and all that is that it doesn't reference our culture, right? And there's plenty of things for us to be able to say that's American culture, right? That's American music, right? There's none of that in anime because uh, it's all based upon Japanese culture. It's all based upon their own cliches and their own jokes. So now there's a detachment, right? There's a slight detachment. And what's so frustrating about it is, again, Hickman was putting together an incredible story for the X-Men. And I just don't understand why these guys just couldn't leave well enough alone. To the point where guys are reading the X-Men Inferno book and they are deciphering that these are conversations that were actually had amongst the writers. And it's heartbreaking. Because he's over here already talking about, yeah, I had to cut out this, I had to cut out that. We didn't want this, we didn't want that. We had to cut this shortcut. Guys, look, go read House of X and Powers of X. It is amazing. It is unbelievable. And when you consider that this came from this guy in Marvel, on the verge of being bankrupt on the publishing side, decides, yeah, we don't need our best writer.
Yeah.
It's like you, as a comic book fan, I want to find the nearest building and just jump off of it. Like, I've had enough. I love comic books, and I hate doing this to my comic book store guys. But it's like it's the same thing DC did. It's like they all have brain cancer. They don't know where they're coming or going. And then they have the nerve and audacity. The thing that's so crazy about it is rather than say, man, the Japanese are killing it with their manga, man. Maybe we should, imitate them. They're like, somebody send somebody over to Japan and tell them that they need to write like this. It's like the arrogance. Like, are you guys listening? You're losing your audience. You're losing us. We're not going to buy your books. I Am Starfire is not standard operating material.
Yeah.
Like, come on. The New Warriors, Kibble Smith, it was a joke, right? You were kidding. You were trolling, right? But as opposed to say, yeah, we were trolling. No, you say, oh, man, we're not going to publish it. Great. Don't publish it. Publish something better. But you give that very same lame, limp writer a promotion and let him write for one of your most popular. Imagine. God, I can't do it. So that's why a lot of us are walking away, and it just breaks my heart because I'm watching people say comic book industry is dead. But I'm looking over at manga and they're setting records. Like, guys, Kimetsu no Yaiba has essentially sold the same amount of books in a shorter period of time. They've outsold Batman. Batman been around since like 1939 or something like that.
Yeah, Batman's been around for a very long time. Batman's been around since the 40s, I believe, because it came out as the Detective Comics. When Batman first came out.
So you've essentially let, and again, I have no problem with foreign products. I like my made in China like everybody else, right? Listen, I love my video games. I'm a Nintendo fan. We were playing Japanese video games when we were kids. I'm still used to play. I still watch my manga. Still watch my anime. But when they come in and dust you like that,
yeah,
come on.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, American comic books. I was watching a video recently by Young Ripper 59 on YouTube. He showed a clip of one of the writers, one of the female writers of a comic. And she was talking about how they were getting interviewed by a channel. And the channel was talking about how comic books were having this, thriving success. And she was like, "Well, we're seeing it completely different because some of us are worried about having a job next month." And it's and it's as he mentioned, I'm not Starfire, comics of that nature. No one wants to read, comic book. I mean, the reason why Japanese stories are resonating so much, and they have their own issues, that they have their own cliches that are annoying to see sometimes in mangas. You're seeing the same stupid idiot main guy, like Goku, Luffy. It gets a little annoying after a while. It's a breath of fresh air when you get someone like Izuku and My Hero. The only problem with Izuku is that he's a crybaby. I mean, that's a major turn on for me. But then it is a breath of fresh air again when the main character goes in and and he doesn't take the someone mouthing off anymore. He goes in and shuts it all down. So both styles of writing have their own issues that they need to go ahead and get over with. I think American comics, they truly are in a state of going out of business. There's been AT&T owns DC Comics, but they've been either trying to sell off DC or completely just going to shut it down because it's not lucrative anymore. It's not making any money. And so, as much as we would love to see, the house that Batman built and Superman built, keep on going. One Piece has already surpassed Batman is number 2 selling manga of all time. I mean, comic book of all time, comic or manga. And it's on its way to displace Superman as well. If it hasn't already done that.
Yeah.
Kimetsu no Yaiba already beat out Batman as well. So it's in second place behind One Piece all-time sales. So, hopefully they can go ahead and get, their heads on straight, pretty much no one likes the direction comic books is going with all the social commentary. Yeah. People just want to read good stories.
It's called escapism for
exactly.
a reason.
We play video games to escape reality. We know that we're not trained soldiers. We're not. That's why Call of Duty and them remain the most played games, year round. We're not trained soldiers. We're not going around, going into, foreign countries and shooting dudes up. It's a video game. It's escapism. And so that's what we want. We don't want real world issues in our comics. So I think that once the Americans get back to that, once the writers get back to actually, staying out of real world and going into fantasy like they should be, they'll be right back on track because someone has a great storyline out there that's waiting to be told. The problem is that they don't have enough funding to get the pen to the actual paper. And so it will be exciting, when that eventual story does come out, and we can actually read it and enjoy it for actually what it is, just a great story, just a great told story. Other than that, One Piece came out last week. We had a pretty cool chapter with
bangers for the last.
Yeah, we had he went back and showed us what was going on between Zoro and King. Even though we didn't get to see Zoro actually do it, he ended up cracking King's mask. That kind of set King off. We got to see My Hero was finally getting out of its arc with Deku going off on his own. Finally, we got to see the number 1 American hero come over riding on top of a stealth bomber like a true American would. Her name is Star and Stripe. So she's coming to help fight against Shigaraki and All for One. So that comic is wrapping up, and then I mean, yeah, we like had a smattering of video game news. We're about to get even more as the year is winding down. The Video Game Awards is going to be coming around. That's when they reveal new games or trailers to already established games that are going to be coming out in 2022. So we definitely hope to see the next trailer for the sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Probably even go ahead and get his name revealed at the Game Awards show, whatever. Hideo Kojima is working on next. He just did Death Stranding Director's Cut. But there's a rumor that he's working on Silent Hill. We know that he had the PT demo, which actually starred Norman Reedus, and that's it. And that's how they ended up working on Death Stranding together with Guillermo del Toro. And then you have a different game news. As I said, Far Cry 6 is coming out. Halo Infinite comes out December 8th, I believe. That's when Halo launches. Call of Duty Vanguard is November. So Metroid Dread is, as I said earlier, is this Friday. So it's just a great time to be a gamer. I know Eternals, the movie, is coming out. I believe it's next month is when Eternals comes out. And definitely, I would like to also see some more Sebastian Shaw as well in the Marvel universe. But yeah, I mean, unless we have anything else to add, I think that'd be a good bow on this stream. We'll try and get y'all something together for Thursday night. Unless you have anything else to add,
man. If anything, I'll tell you guys to stay tuned. We're gonna be coming back, hitting it harder, trying to continue to be more consistent. Yeah. As I said, like my brother said earlier,
we're not sick anymore. So
COVID is a mug, man. Yeah. But we're back.
Yeah,
we're back.
Yeah, I mean, I would have loved to have seen the Daredevil season 4, but they decided to cancel it on Netflix. But there's a rumor that the actor who played Daredevil is going to be in Spider-Man No Way Home.
They should just bring back everybody, honestly.
And if you don't want to be spoiled on that movie, do not search up any scenes for that movie on YouTube because the leaks are already out. They're already showing scenes of characters of. I mean, you already saw the trailer how Doc Ock from Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man was in the movie, so you already know what it is. So just stay off the internet if you don't want to be spoiled on that movie.
I think the most hilarious that there's a certain actor out there who's like, "I'm not in that movie," and you see him inside the costume.
He's in the movie.
Saying the lines.
He's in the movie, but yeah, definitely, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in tonight. Can't wait to see y'all again. We'll get some more news out tomorrow, and we should be streaming again Thursday night. So,
alrighty,
adios. Y'all have a good one.
Good night.
Later.